Paramount Plus isn't just streaming Super Bowl 58. They're giving away 58 tickets to Super Bowl 58. Keep an eye out for special QR codes streaming before your favorite shows and movies on Paramount Plus. Scan one of those codes for a chance to win a pair of Super Bowl tickets and a trip to Vegas. Check out the hideandpeaksweeps.com for more info. Tampa Bay, a no-doubter over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Those 12 points, well, they came late. 30-12 is your final as Tampa keeps a good thing going now, 8-7 and in the driver's seat in that division. On the other side of this one, well, a number of different ways to get to 8-7. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they've taken the option of 4 consecutive losses here after an 8-3 start. 8-7 is where they stand and skidding right into Tampa Bay. In studio, Joe Musso alongside Emery Hunt here to break this one down. And Emery, it was from snap number 1, a nightmare for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll get to some of the good we saw here with Tampa Bay, but we have to have a Trevor Lawrence conversation. Since 2021, 8 games with 3+ turnovers for Trevor Lawrence. That is by far the most in the NFL. Josh Allen, Mac Jones, the closest with just 5 such instances. Why don't we talk about Trevor Lawrence and some of those issues the same way we do the others?
That's a great question, because when you think about a lot of the issues and the turnovers, it's fumbles. And he is, he's a large guy, he has large hands, so you expect him to not have those fumble issues, but that's a lack of concentration. And you want him to have that concentration in the pocket when he's getting outside the pocket, because he's a tremendous athlete. The interceptions are not too concerning in my opinion, but when you're throwing the same type of interceptions where it's a depth perspective issue, you worry about where you're seeing, you're locking in on the target, and then you're not really throwing with a proper base. So some mechanical issues that have to get fixed for Trevor Lawrence, and that's why we're seeing the interceptions. The fumbles, focus problems, those have to get tightened up, because you're right, he is turning it over at a high clip.
Yeah, that statistical issue here since 2021 when Lawrence was a rookie, but 8 instances of 3+ turnovers, and it puts his team behind the 8 ball in this game. Now, there were issues all over the place for Jacksonville. Let's get to the Bucs side of the conversation, because we went from saying who wants to win this division to these Bucs can play some football right now. Where have you seen the greatest development and strides made over this past 6 or so weeks by the Bucs?
The defense, they're stopping the run. You saw Travis Etienne have no success running the football today, and on the other side of the ball, Baker Mayfield has played up to his level of potential and starting to throw the football really well, working every level of the field. But his intermediate and deep ball passing has really turned it on the back end of the season. And when you combine that with the way the defense is playing and Rashad White starting to get going, he didn't have the statistical success in today's game, but he's starting to run the football. This balanced offense is going to be dangerous for the Bucs moving forward.
All right, let's take a look at some numbers coming out of this one. Again, dominant performance here by Tampa Bay, 30-12, as they have really flipped the script over especially these last 4 games. 28.5 points per game behind Baker Mayfield, who's doing himself some favors too when we're talking offseason. Let's take you back out to the site where Trent Green is standing by with his thoughts on what was a dominant performance, Trent, by these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Emery and I were just talking a bit about it, but where have you seen the biggest change over this last month by this Buccaneers team, not just offensively, but defensively? Where have they taken the greatest strides in your eyes?
Well, talking to Todd Bowles, he said it's just the complementary football that they're playing. When they started off the season 4-7 and weren't playing very well, it was either the offensive turnovers, not getting production from the run game, not getting compliments from the pass game, too many turnovers, the defense not doing their job in terms of pass defense. They've been good against the run most of the year, but you look at this 4-game winning streak now and the complementary football they're playing. They got 4 turnovers tonight. They got 3 touchdowns off of those 4 turnovers. They were able to get 4 sacks, take advantage of the field position. Even though they only had a few more yards than Jacksonville did offensively, they were able to produce points when they had short fields to deal with.
Well, for every streak, there is a slide, and that is the current reality for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who started the season 8-3. We're talking about a potential 1 seed just a month ago, and now we're talking about a team that needs to figure some things out, specifically at the quarterback position, where Trevor Lawrence did get pulled from this game, did have the turnover issues throughout, but right now, sitting at 8-7 with the talent that they do have on this team, what is the messaging? How do you turn around a skid of this manner? I mean, 4 straight the wrong way, the last 2 coming in relative blowout fashion.
Well, first I want to be clear that Trevor wasn't pulled from the game. It was because of an injury to his throwing shoulder. He was diving for a first down and landed on it. So just to protect the shoulder, they did an evaluation, took him in the blue tent. They determined that C.J. Beathard should finish the game. He wasn't playing very well. You mentioned the fact the turnovers, 2 interceptions. He had the fumble. All of those 3 turnovers led directly to touchdowns for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So number one, they have to get more efficient and better play out of their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He has to protect the football better. He's turned the ball over way too many times, as we know, since he's been in the league. The 3 years he's been in the league, no one has more turnovers than him in those 3 seasons. So number one, he has to protect the football. Offensive line is beat up right now. No Cam Robinson at left tackle. There's a chance he could get back by the playoffs. That doesn't look likely. They lost their right tackle tonight, the fine rookie that's been playing outstanding this year. They lost him earlier in the game, so both your edges weren't in there, and so constant pressure by the Buccaneers all night. And then defensively, they just were on their heels. They couldn't stop Baker Mayfield in this offense in the pass game. Mike Evans ended up with a couple of touchdown catches, and they were very effective moving the football. So Jacksonville has to get things turned around. The good thing for Jacksonville, here they lost 4 in a row. The good thing for Jacksonville, though, is the fact that Houston and Indy both lost. So they're still in first place. They're sitting at 8-7. They're still in first place. They control their destiny. They've got to play better the next 2 weeks, but they can get it turned around if they solve the turnover problem, number one, and protect Trevor Lawrence. And then I think if they can get that run game going, once again, that falls on the shoulders of the offensive line.
Final 2 opportunities will come against Carolina and Tennessee. Trent Green, always spectacular on the call. We appreciate you taking the time on the holiday weekend, my friend.
All right, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Same to you and yours. And here it is. I mean, Baker Mayfield is doing exactly what his team needs him to do at the most opportune of times. 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. Everything that Trevor Lawrence is struggling with, Baker Mayfield is excelling at. Cooking up Baker, and maybe cooking up a new contract. Plenty more coming on Game Day Scoreboard. Full highlights from this one and your other 2 evening kicks. We'll bring it all to you over the next hour. Don't move. Everything coming on CBS Sports HQ.